lot of these carboxyl groups right here, okay? And you'll notice here that this carboxyl group, we take something, oh, we didn't do that one. So that's a carbonyl group. That particular one right there is called a ketone. The aldehyde form would be if it was terminal, like this, okay, there. And you'll notice this is an aldehyde. If you replace that hydrogen with a hydroxide group, that's how you get the carboxyl group. Okay. So it's a carbonyl group with the hydroxyl group, hence carboxyl, but it's the aldehyde form of the thing. And then phosphate groups, PO4s like this. Okay. And again, that will be acidic because these hydroxyl groups right here will donate protons as well. So if we put that in water, these hydrogens come off, and these become negative. So when you see a particular compound, you'll see that it has these different functional groups on it. And these different functional groups are what are going to give certain chemical characteristics to whatever compound contains it. So these organic molecules, these biomolecules that are associated with living things, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleotides, are all compounds that will have some relevance to us. Sometimes they're conjugated, and that means that they may be combined with something else. So you'll hear reference to lipoproteins. That's what's a combination of a lipid and a protein. A glycoprotein or glycolipid, combination of a carbohydrate and a lipid. So it's just some terminology, right? So we'll talk about glycolipids and glycoproteins and lipoproteins and whatever. But what all of these compounds have in common, well, I'm going to say sort of this one, is that they're all polymers that are made of a single repeating unit. So for example, complex carbohydrates like starch, that's a polymer of glucose. Glucose attached to glucose, attached to glucose, attached to glucose. So glucose is the monomer, the polymer is starch. So a monosaccharide, polysaccharide. Proteins. Proteins are polymers. They're polymers of what? Amino acids, right? You hook together amino acids, one after another, to make this chain, this polypeptide, which could then fold and become a protein, something functional. Nucleic acids, they are polymers. They're polymers of nucleotides. For example, DNA is a polymer of A's, adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine hooked together in a particular chain. Right? And I guess if we had to say a lipid is kind of a polymer, but what it's a polymer of is just hydrocarbons. So a lot of carbons bound to each other with hydrogens. So the repeating unit there would be just a hydrocarbon like this. So these are just hydrocarbons, right? So lipids are polymers of these hydrocarbons. So it's not the same like an amino acids hooked together, whatever, but it's kind of the same. That we have these polymers here of these hydrocarbons that are linked together. So all of those molecules share that in common. They're all large. They're made by taking small things and grouping them together. The type of reaction that groups two monomers together to make a polymer, in chemistry you may have called it either condensation reactions or dehydration synthesis. Do either of those two names sound vaguely familiar?